got to be miles away from here for dawn.
Where is she?
Follow that North Star. If there are no stars, just follow the river. Listen for them. Fear is your enemy. Whoa, easy now.
I'm gonna be free or die.
I don't know if you know how extraordinary this is, but you have made it 100 miles to freedom all by yourself. Would you like to pick a new name to mark your freedom?
Harriet Tubman. You are welcome here anytime. If I'm free, my family should be too. I made up my mind, I'm going back. You're confident, composed, when trouble comes. You'll be ready.
Papers. Says here you're 5.5 feet tall. You ain't more than 5 feet.
Must have won my high boots that day.
Why you back here? It ain't safe.
I come to get you. Bring all of you to freedom.
Do you know what would happen if you got caught? You got lucky, Harriet.
I made it this far on my own, so don't you tell me what I can't do.
Harriet, welcome to the Underground Railroad. Everybody, everywhere is looking for you.
God don't mean people to own people.
Find this thief and burn her at the stake.
Harriet!
I would give every last drop of blood in my veins until this monster called slavery is dead. Ready?
You know, these aren't jokes, these are thoughts, these are things that make you say,
This may seem terrible, but my God, I didn't know you were black.
Go pop it for a player, pop it for me. Turn around and drop it for a player, drop it for me.
Hey, Uma! Not to be popular. It's just, I'm inspired by my brother, that Reality Temple's brother, the most powerful voice on the internet, that reality angel snubbing up 7. That's right, brother. I'm calling you out, brother. I'm building you. I'm putting you out there, brother. I'm shouting you out. That's my inspiration.
When soul singer and black activist Sam Cooke wrote the lyrics to his song, A Change Is Gonna Come, it was very direct and to the point. With some changes to it, the song was still digestible. In the year 2019, black folks continue to go through the change rather than direct the change. A community activist named Taalik Ibn'rad has made an appeal similar to what Sam Cooke was asking for. A change. It's said that the meek shall inherit the earth. We ask when. When will the landlords give the meek a free lease? Mr. Ibn'rad is humbly asking for the state of Mississippi. President Trump has already had sit-downs with the wrong representatives of the black community. How about a real discussion with a true grassroots African American? Join and organize Operation Exodus Mississippi today, or become a supporter.
Hey, my brother, you know I had to call you and thank you personally again. I cannot describe to you how happy I was to meet you in person, finally. That was just like amazing.
Welcome to the Reality's Temple on Earth. My name is Jeroen, and I would like to say that Angel Snub 7 isn't a racist at all. He's a good friend, and I owe him a lot of support, and I would like to say that we have one common goal, and that is psychiatry is worst scam on earth, okay? Because they drug people, they drug children, they give people more problems than they already have, and yeah. That's about it for the first video.
Free your mind.
Okay, let's talk some more about this redundant, never-ending conversation about whether or not the so-called Negro, the African American, is actually an African or an Aboriginal. I'm Angel Snub 7. This is the Reality Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I'm also your soul brother number 1. And I'm telling you that we are not African and we are not Aboriginal. There's no people ever called Africa African. That is a continent. Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? There's no people called Native American. Who are you talking about? The Cherokee, the Sioux? Who are you talking about? What African are you trying to be? Somalian from the Congo? Who are you trying to be? The Gambian? Who are you trying to be? There is no people called African. That's a continent. Anybody who was born on that continent could be an African. Anybody born on this soil could be called a Native American, a Native North American. What people are you talking about? Who are you trying to be that you never was? These are some factors that they always just want to ignore. You cannot ignore these factors because that's part of the history. In order to come to the correct conclusion, to get the right answer to the problem, you must do the right math. 1 + 5 do not equal 7. If you're getting a 7 and the only thing you have is a 5 and a 1, then you're missing something. You're not getting the right answer because those who want to be Africans, those who want to be Native Americans, These are the factors that they just simply ignore because they want to be something they are not. They are telling you this history themselves, but they just ignore it. Look, first of all, and I will keep saying this until I'm blue in the face, which is almost impossible. But look at here. Fact number one, no dark-skinned people on this planet ever called themselves black or African or Negro or colored or Native American or Indian. These labels, these descriptions did not appear until the people was conquered by the races. These are racist labels. These are labels forced upon people after they were conquered. These dark-skinned people refer to themselves as their tribe or their nation. That's what they done. So who are you trying or think that you think that you are? They are not the same. All African people are not the same. All Native American people are not the same. Let it also be clear that when you talk about Native American people, remember, these races at one time also called the Native American people here Negro. They also called the Native American people here African, because as far as they was concerned, anybody that had dark skin was an African as far as they was concerned. So when they call you an African, do it mean that you actually came from the continent of Africa or your people was already here? You just want to ignore that fact. It's a possibility that you was already here. Because when you look at the transatlantic slave trade, I'm not saying it did not happen, but the mathematics does not, it's a lot of questions. It don't make no sense. It does not even make good businesses to build these boats and take 4 to 6 months to go to Africa. It's going to take 4 to 6 months to come back, and you lose half of your cargo. There's no insurance company, knowing you're going to have this type of loss, they're not going to insure no cargo like that. But that's what you want us to believe. Plus the trip itself, for somebody supposed to be shackled down in the bottom of a boat, swimming in their own feces and urine for 4 to 6 months, the whole thing don't make any sense. You got a lot of, you got dysteria, you got cholera, you got all kinds of diseases that can break out on a boat that will not only affect the slaves, but the crew also. The whole thing don't make it, see, if you really think about the whole process, it don't make any sense. Now, the first thing that happens is these people are different. And y'all even say that. They speak different languages. They come from different tribes because they was not the same. So because of slavery, they was forced to mix with one another. These are people who had nothing to do. And maybe that explains the what y'all call the self-hatred. Because these people was made, because of slavery, they was made to interact, intermingle, even have sexual relations with one another, and they would not have done that if it was not for slavery. And they was different. So as soon as that started, you started mixing. So the children that came from out of these relationships, they was not pure. They was not a pure Zulu or a pure Gambian or whatever the African was. They was no longer pure. They began to mix. The children was mixed. Even though they was dark skinned, they still was mixed because all these different Africans, all these different Native American people was different. Then, of course, somebody else had to get into the mix, which was the rapists, the slave owners themselves. So they began to put the European blood in the mix. So you have all kinds of different DNA, different kinds of dark-skinned DNA and the European DNA, different kinds. Over hundreds of years, start mixing and mingling with one another. like you mixing cake mix and putting the eggs together and all that together. As long as the eggs stay away from the flour and the water, it's pure. But as soon as you mix the eggs with the flour and you start putting all these different ingredients together, it's no longer an egg. It's turning into a cake. You cannot call a cake an egg. Eggs are in it. You cannot call a cake wheat. Wheat is in it and sugar is in it, but you can't call a cake a sugar. A cake is a cake. It's no longer, as long as these items were separated, the eggs is over here, but when you start mixing, it becomes a cake. It's no longer those things. They mix with one another. Even if you believe in the DNA test, it tells you you are not pure. In order to be pure, that means you cannot mix with nothing. And it don't make no difference what you look like. You still mix. Because whatever is in your DNA, you can look like whatever in your DNA. There are so-called black people, if y'all remember, that's supposed to be able to pass for white, but they black. We who are called black people, our skin tone is from the lightest of the light, darkest to the darkest of the dark. We have thin noses, thin lips, big noses, big lips, kinky hair, semi-straight hair, straight hair. We look all short, fat, all kinds of ways. We don't have a specific look because we carry all this different kind of DNA swimming around in our veins, including the DNA of the enemy. Somebody is telling us that if you are 50% African, you're pure. No, no, no. You're not. When you mix something, it's mixed. It's no longer pure. Pure is 100%. There are people who do not want ethanol in their gas. They want 100% gas. They do not want ethanol. So when they drive up to the gas pump and they see 15% ethanol, it's more than 50% gas, but it's no longer gas. It's gas, but it's no longer pure gas. It's been mixed with ethanol, which is a type of gas, and they don't want that. They want pure gas, 100%. They don't want any ethanol or this other stuff that's in it. So according to these people, as long as it's 50%, it's pure. So that means you can take 50% gas, add 50% water, and your car will run. Well, let's do that. Let's try that. Try that logic. Put 50% water with your gas. Since it's still pure, let's see how your car will run. That's not how things work. They ignored the breeding farms. Then you have to take it a step further. There was the breeding farms. Mothers was made to have babies with their sons. Fathers was made to have babies with their daughters. And cousins and blah, blah, blah. They was made to rape each other. Incest. They say that is the reason why incest is rampant in the black community, because of all those hundreds of years of the breeding farm. We was forced to have relations with our relatives. And then you was transferred. You could not keep your families intact. Mothers were sent over here, fathers over there, sons, children. And then we would adopt somebody and call them a daddy at a new plantation. Call somebody else my daddy or my mother on a new plantation. You don't even really know if you are really biological connected to the people that you claim is your relatives. Not really, you don't know because of this. So we are a melting pot of DNA. We don't really know anything. And then we talk about we're Africans and Aboriginal. Those of us who can make that claim and think that we got proof, it's just a few handful. You can't go back hundreds and hundreds of years. And you still cannot ignore the breeding form. You cannot ignore this mixing. And the ones that even told you or talked about being an African or whatever, it's just a few handful. And then if they was pure, they mixed with the ones who was not pure. So you still end up, it's still the same thing. And so after all these hundreds of years of all this type of mixing activity, the racists named the new descendants of these slaves, your ancestors was pure. Your ancestors was pure. But we are not. We're hybrids. We're the descendants of these people. They was pure, but we're not. And the racists named this new breed that was created, the only thing you ever know was slavery. You did not live in Egypt. You don't know nothing about ancient Ethiopia. The only thing you ever known, and you was created right here in the good old United States of America, right here on the slave plantation. And he called us colored people. He called us the Negro. He called us black, or the ever popular nigger. This new breed of people. And the Africans know it. And they reject you. And the Native American people, whoever they are, they reject you. Nobody wants to be associated with you. They know you are not them. And that's fine with me. I don't want to be you. You're trying to be somebody that you're not. Understand what happened to us, what brought us into being. Be happy. Look at your history. You shame of coming from slavery. But look at our history. Can you imagine what we could do once we get up under this oppressor? So what? You came from out of slavery. So what? Slavery created us. So what? It's not about what you was. It's about where you're going, what you can be, and your potential.
Free your mind.
Come on. Shh. Don't be scared. No, come on. Don't be scared. You have entered the right place. As always, in the name of our ancestors, peace forever and always. Welcome to another edition of what I call the Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I am the mighty one, Angel Snub 7. I am also your soul brother #1. Don't be scared. Come on. Don't be shy. Don't be timid. Come on in. Nobody gonna bite you. Now, you can go to other places and express your opinion. And if they don't like your opinion, they will bite your head off. Savages. Savages, I tell you. Just savages. But you can come here and express your opinion as long as we speak to each other in a civil, cordial manner without that foolishness. You know what I mean. We're not dumb. Some of us get angry because we don't know how to express ourselves, or our idea or whatever is rejected, or we want to express something and we believe we know it all, and it's not coming off as well as you thought it would be, and you get angry and upset. So you turn to the name calling and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. As long as you don't do that, and many people have come here and expressed differences of opinion with no problem. You don't have to agree with what I say. That's fine. And I don't have to agree with what you're talking about, but we can have civil difference and just have a civil conversation, an enjoyable, intelligent conversation, right? Okay. Look, Can we be quite honest with ourselves? Let's be honest with ourselves. I'm trying to figure something out here. Now look, I was raised in the Christian church. I went on to convert to Islam. So I was a believer in both Holy Bible, the Gospel of Jesus Christ and the Torah, as well as the Hadith and the writings of the teachings that was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be unto him. In both Islam and Christianity, I was taught about this behavior that we call homosexuality. It is very clear in both Bible and Quran that men are not supposed to lay with men, meaning sexually, and that women aren't supposed to lay with women. In fact, in the Bible, it talks about women should not wear men's clothes and men should not wear women's clothes. Even to the point that this behavior could be punishable by death. And at the time, you know, under these teachings, I was like, wow, punishable by death. But a behavior, remember, nothing comes into existence without God's permission. So here you have a God, both Bible and Quran, you have a God that allows a behavior to come into existence and then turn around and want to punish, harass the ones whom he victimized with this behavior. Ain't that something? What kind of God would do such a thing? You don't understand. Yeah, no, I don't understand. Because you're telling me that nothing comes into being, nothing comes into existence. God is the all-knowing. So God knew that this person was going to be a homosexual, gay and a lesbian before they was even born. But God is against that and allow this person to come into birth, to come into a world surrounded by Islam, surrounded by Christianity, surrounded by these religious teachings that condemn this person. This person don't even have a chance to begin with. That's not fair. Something is wrong with your God. Now I understand why most of you who believe in these religious teachings, you are just like your God. You're not fair. You're not just. In fact, you are more wicked and evil than your devil, than your Lucifer, than your Satan. But I was taught. And even today, not because of religion, even today, I simply say that such behavior is unnatural because I have not seen no sign in nature that supports that behavior. It's an unnatural behavior born out of unnatural circumstance. Most people, something happened to them in their lives. Even chemically, these vaccines, Similac, baby formulas, Infamil milk, being molested as a child, being exploited as a child, women have been abused for centuries, all these type of factors. I believe, because I don't know, but I believe these different factors produce this type of behavior. There is rare instances where you do have people that might come into being like this, but it's very, very rare. But again, God allows this. Nothing comes into existence without God's knowing and God's permission. Now, I've been in Islam and Christianity, and I simply say and talk about that is a behavior that God does not like. That's all. I've never went around trying to bash, and you heard me, all the homosexuals and the gays and the lesbians, and you're going to die in hellfire, and that's you nasty and disgusting. And this is the thing about it. Gays and lesbians are accused of sodomy. Sodomy is anal sex and oral sex. And y'all straight people, y'all do that too. And it don't make no difference if a man is doing it with a woman is doing it with a man. It makes no difference. It's called sodomy. It's still sodomy. It's not sex. There's only one sex, sexual intercourse between the penis and the vagina. That's the only sex. All that other stuff y'all be doing for pleasure is called sodomy. So I'm wondering, I'm trying to figure out why so many of these pro-black men, these religious-fied men, it's usually the men. I really don't see a lot of this coming from females. It's these men that's hyped up and really have this hatred for the homosexual agenda. They really hyped up. Why? I'm wondering about this. I'm just gonna throw some stuff at you and tell me what you think. I'm just gonna put some bait on the line and throw it out in the water. Let's see what we can get. If you notice, these pro-black men, they like to hang around men. Now here they talk about the homosexuals and the gays and the lesbians, but they are men and they like hanging out with men. What's up with that? When I was in the Nation of Islam, I did not like hanging around the FOI. I did not like hanging around men like that. It made me feel uncomfortable. I don't like that. But these guys, these pro-black guys, if you notice, it's about men. They like hanging around men all the time. What's up with that? And they spend a little time with their wife, their girlfriend, but they like hanging around men. What's up with that? In the pro-black community, you know and I both know that a lot of these pro-black men have spent some time, matter of fact, a lot of time in jail or prison. A lot of jail. Now, it's a myth that you go to jail and you got somebody like Big Bubba, you become their girlfriend. That's a myth. That don't happen to everybody. But there's some possibilities here. Now, there's an old saying, what you do in Vegas, stay in Vegas. What happens in prison, stay in prison. In prison, in jail, it's a possibility that some of these guys was raped. It's a possibility by men. That's a possibility. There's a possibility some of these guys, they claim they have a high sex drive and all like that. So you all locked down, there's no women around. So what you gonna do? Well, I'm not gonna say, but that's one outlet. But what if that's not good enough? What's in Vegas, stay in Vegas. You understand what I'm saying? They're not gonna tell you that. So some of these guys are down low. Now they talk about the homosexuals and the gays and lesbians, but they never mention the down low guys. Because some of them could be down low. Some of them probably was raped in jail. This is why we could be talking about apples and oranges. What about the homosexuals? Dude, where did that come from? Every time I mention the Mississippi campaign, the first thing these Fruit Loops want to talk about, what about the homosexuals? I don't want to live by no homosexuals. Ain't nobody talking about no homosexuals. We talking about what is in the best interest of our people. Regardless, if homosexuals is there, and they are, so be it. Who cares? That's not what this is about. We're not building a nation. We're not building no type of nothing like that. We're just trying to do what is in the best interest of the people. But the first thing they talk about, well, what about the homosexuals? If they was possibly, if they was raped in jail or prison, if they got down with another man in secret, I can see why they have this hatred and this obsession with homosexuality, gays and lesbians and transgenders and all like that. Now I'm beginning to understand, because look, you say what you got to say. God is against that type of behavior. It's unnatural, and go on about your business. These people are obsessed and they go ballistic. The homosexual agenda, and the gays do this, and the lesbians do that, and blah blah. Could it be that they have a, some of them really have a desire, because they're trying to put on this front, but they still desire man booty because they like being around men? Yeah, they got a wife and girlfriend. That don't mean nothing. Down low brothers are married, they have children, they have wives, they have girlfriends, and they still sneak around with men. Who's to say these guys here that's always huffing and puffing, you can't even have a conversation, they want to talk about what the homosexual is doing? And especially if they have a jail background. Some of these guys just might have that desire deep down inside. They probably wonder, I wonder how it is to be with a man, because they like hanging around and being with me. That's my brothers. It ain't homosexual. There's brotherhood, and then there's, you want to hang around men too much. What are y'all doing? You're not building a nation. You just want to socialize and be around guys.
Free your mind.
I was listening to a brother, and I really don't have to mention his name, but I was listening to him talk, and it reminded me of myself when I was a younger person, maybe in my 20s. And I listened to this brother preach, and I'm studying his mindset. He is black first. He is an African, Pan-African, all this unapologetically black thing. Y'all know how that goes. And it sounds incredible to those who are listening, feeding your emotion. And I've said this before, when you are emotional, emotion does not allow proper thinking. So you're listening to somebody who has a rigid mindset. They are not able to think. They are being driven solely on emotion. And this is what you see in houses of religion. The people are not driven being able to think for themselves. They are driven by the glory and the wonderful story that is being told by the preacher or the pastor or the minister. Driven by emotion. Emotion does not allow proper thinking. So those who embrace that mindset that mindset, rather, they limit themselves in what they can and what they can and cannot do, and they limit themselves to how far they can go. Did you hear what I just said? They limit themselves to what they can and cannot do, and they limit how far they can go, because being rigid, you are limited. The great philosopher and teacher, martial artist, the late Bruce Lee, gave a demonstration between a stick and this whip-like stick that was like a whip. The stick is solid. The stick is rigid. So it's only capable of limited movement because it's rigid. However, the stick that is elastic, able to bend. Did you hear what I said? But the stick that's able to bend like a whip is more flexible. So if you use these sticks in a fight, the one that is flexible, the probability that they will win that fight is higher because the weapon they have is flexible. Because not only can it be rigid, but it's flexible, it can bend and move all kinds of ways, while that stick that is solid is rigid. So one of the problems in the black conscious community, Kemetic, Hebrew Israelite, Moor, Black First, Pan-African, RBG, whatever you want to call it, the severe problem that they have, and the reason why they cannot comprehend and understand Angel Snub 7 is because they are rigid in their mind. Thus, they are limited in movement. So, as you can see, it is thousands and hundreds of these persons, and you see them unable to progress because of this rigid mindset. You can't go no further. When we die, or when any animal dies, when we die, the body goes into a state of what they call rigor mortis, or being rigid post-mortem or in mortem or in death. So this is what we see. We see a bunch of people who are claiming to be alive, but it's impossible. They may be alive physically, but they are not alive mentally, because what they embrace is rigid. It is not flexible. So it's limited in what it can do. And they suffer from a dead mentality, so they suffer rigor mortis. And when something suffers rigor mortis, this means it is no longer alive. So you see the black conscious community, and you listen to Umar Johnson and Louis Farrakhan and Tariq Nasheed, and you listen to the wisdom from Sonata TV, you are listening to the dead. You are listening to those suffering from rigor mortis, those who are rigid in the mind. the dead. The dead cannot move. The dead is stuck wherever the dead fall. And those with a rigid mindset, the only reason they move is because they are physically alive, but they cannot move mentally. Their mind is still dead. At the same time, they believe they are alive. Well, if you are alive, then why aren't you creating life? Why can't you move? Why are you having problems moving? Because you are suffering rigor mortis. The longer a body is dead, the stiffer the body gets. When a body first dies, it's flexible. You can grab the body and be able to move it all kinds of ways. But when rigor mortis sits in, then the body stiffens. So their mind has stiffened. And it takes something that is alive in order to get them to move. Again, that mindset is not going to get them anywhere. And they get angry at Angel Snubbed Up 7, of course, because I'm a reminder that they are not alive. That they are, in fact, mentally dead. Because the mind is not rigid unless you force it to be rigid. The brain is always thinking. The mind is flexible. The brain is able to solve any problem that you have. But those who are in black conscious, Kemetic, all this black conscious, African, Afrocentric, this type of mindset, they force their brain to work only in a certain direction, in a certain way. So the brother, what he might say, sounds good, is all hyped up, it can inspire you, but you cannot inspire the dead. Because when your mind is rigid in thought, you have forced yourself and put upon yourself limitations when in the situation that the black man and woman or the soul brothers and sisters in America, the situation that we are in requires a mindset that is flexible, not rigid. So before the brother can even speak, I already know what you're going to talk about. Because it's been said countless times before. Before you do, I already know what you're going to do, because you're doing the same thing that the dead, that those who are physically died, done 5,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 100 years ago. You're doing the same thing because you are just as dead as those who are now deceased. You have, your mindset is the same of those who are now gone. But that which is alive, the mind, the plan, the solutions are always changing to fit the problem. So in your death, we come up with these fictional, fantasy-like solutions, and a fantasy, fictional solution cannot solve a real problem. And because of your dead mindset, you miss out on opportunity. You miss out on help that you could get because of this rigid mindset. Because you want to be proud to be black. You want to be proud and black first. You want to be black, a label that was created by your racist conqueror that you claim that you don't like. But you proud and you unapologetically black, a race that was created by the people that put you in the condition that you're in. It makes no sense. You want to continue to carry on the ideology of the people that conquered your ancestors. And you're proud of it. I'm proud to be placed into this race when your ancestors did not refer to themselves as a race. They referred to themselves as their nation or their tribe. You refer to yourself as the race that your slave master gave to you. So how are you going to move forward when you're still a slave? Black first is slavery. Kemetic is slavery. Morse is slavery. Hebrew is slavery. All of it is slavery. And you're rigid in your mind and you cannot progress because you are still the walking dead. You're a walking zombie, but it sounds good to you. And you're loyal to that which sounds good and it's filled with fantasy and reality. But if it was real, you could move forward, but you can't because the reality is you suffer from rigor mortis.
Free your mind.
I know. I'm a little rough. I need to shave. But guess what? Guess what, Terry? Guess what? I don't care. I don't care. Because I'm keeping it real or nothing at all. I don't always have my face shaved. Matter of fact, I try to shave as less as possible because it makes my skin break out. Brothers know what I'm talking about. All that shaving makes your face break out or whatever. So I try to shave as less as possible to avoid all those razor bumps start happening all over your face. Plus, you have to sort of eat as clean as you can because all that buildup gets in your skin and you break out and all that kind of good thing. But I have nothing to prove to nobody. I have nobody to impress. See, some of these people trying to impress you, they have to wear a suit. They have to put on these costumes with the different hats and the different clothes. They have to show you that they drive a certain car. They live in a certain kind of pretty house. I don't have to do all that. That's too much work. That's too much work. I don't have time for it. I'm gonna keep it real or nothing at all. So if I don't feel like shaving, hey, I just don't feel like shaving. According to how I feel. I don't have nobody to impress. I have nothing to prove to nobody. Take it or leave it. Because I don't care. Subscribe, unsubscribe, like, don't like. Who gives a dang? I don't care. Because why? Because I'm keeping it real or nothing at all. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. So, we want to talk about real quick about the kind of people who hate my guts, that don't like Angel Snub 7, those who false flag my work since 2007. I have been on YouTube since 2007, and it is now what? 2019, right? Okay, so I have had over 100 channels terminated. 100. Somebody do not want me to talk. What kind of people don't want Angel Snub 7 to talk? The first time my channel was false flag was by Soul Sisters. Yes, the first time my channel was terminated was by Soul Sisters because they wanted me to do something I did not want to do, be somebody who I am not, and then a certain group of them accused me of something I was not guilty, and they were spreading this slander. And then when I defended myself, even though they were faceless, these people were faceless, don't know what they look like. One of the pieces of trash, I'm going to say that, because you're a piece of trash when you know that you're telling a lie, talking about I'm slandering you, I'm stalking you or whatever. You're a liar. And so I defended myself, and I put videos out to defend myself, and I asked them to show any kind of proof. Stalk you for what? As you know, my telephone number is public, and folks call me. Then for whatever reason, they fall out with me, and these women talk about I'm stalking. How am I stalking you? Get the phone records. If you get the phone records, you will see that they were the ones that called me. They were the ones that constantly called me. They couldn't just say, I like what you're talking about or whatever, and go about their business. They wanted to start some type of interaction. They know who I am. They see me clearly. I don't know what they look like. Stalk you for what? I don't know what you look like. I don't know where you live. I don't know nothing about you. But they were the first ones that false flagged my channel. Followed quickly by Soul Brothers. You see a pattern here? The first ones to flag Angel Snub Nub 7 is by black folks. You would think that Caucasians would be the first, but they wasn't. My channel was flagged by, I guess you would say, my own kind. Why did the brothers flag me? The brothers flagged me because I would defend the sisterhood against their, just like today, you have people like Tommy Sotomayor and a whole lot of other raggedy brothers, so-called brothers, that they use their channels and talk about weaves and black women all day long and garbage like that. And so they flagged my channel. They wanted me to get with them. As a man, as a male, I shouldn't be hanging with these weave wearers, these women who have betrayed the black man and all this other nonsense they be talking. And they flagged me. Now, their flags isn't nothing. Black women flagging me and the brothers flagging me, okay. But the real flagging started when the white man showed up. And you making videos and you talking about Caucasian people, and it's the truth, and they know it's the truth, but they don't want that type of stuff online because they always want to paint themselves this picture like they are holier than thou and everything has changed and the world, everything is beautiful in its own way. They want that lie to flourish. Also, they do not want you to defend yourself against racist Caucasians who put out, and their videos are not flagged, put out their lies, their lying, false statistics about brothers and sisters and blah, blah, blah. And that's when the flagging really got serious. And they began to draw the attention of Google itself. And of course, you know, Google is white folks. And so next thing you know, channel after channel. Before I could even put a new channel up, it was flagged down. Bah, 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 bah. Pretty soon, people who they thought was associated with me, they was flagging and terminating their channels too. Really, really wild. For what? What am I saying so threatening? But you know what I noticed? I made videos about interracial relationships is unnatural. And I talked about interracial couples. They didn't flag. The swirlers, matter of fact, according to YouTube statistics at the time, the majority of my audience was women, and a lot of those women was swirlers. Some of these swirlers had popular channels at the time. They didn't have, why they didn't have a problem with Angel Snuff Number 7? These swirling sisters, and they still don't, to my knowledge, still don't have a problem with me. Now another group of people that you would think would be flagging Angel Snuff Number 7 is the Jewish community, because I put up videos questioning the Holocaust. They got angry, but I did not see any signs that they flagged Angel Snuff Number 7. Nor the Mexicans and a whole lot, Africans and a whole lot of other folks. The trouble comes from American Negro and the American white folks. That's where the trouble comes from. Who probably are, these Caucasian people really are undercover races. They want to put on this holy show. Then, of course, now I have the pro-black, blackity black, I'm so blacker, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice Negroes. I really have them upset. And they really flagging. But they don't have the power like these Caucasians and Google, as you know, runs YouTube. So their little flagging is nothing compared when you have these Caucasians, because they are organized. They have organized flagging. They do it in a group. Plus, they are backed up by Google itself. That is why over 100 channels have been terminated. Why they don't like Angel Snuff Number 7? The pro-blacks do not like Angel Snuff Number 7, and most people that flag Angel Snuff Number 7, because I keep it real or nothing at all. I destroy your fantasy world all the way to the very very micro belief. Destroy it all. And it's not to hurt your feelings. I'm not out here to make you mad, but to bring you the real truth, bring you to reality. You are an adult now. You're grown. You're living in these fantasy worlds, and you refuse to accept things as they are. You're not African. You're not Aboriginal. You're not Kemetic. You're not a Hebrew. All these different things. You're not. And you know that you cannot refute, debunk what I'm talking about. So it's easier you think that you false flag me. It don't make no difference if you false flag me or not. When it's all said and done, you're not an African, you're not an Aboriginal, you're not a Hebrew, you're not a black Muslim, you're not all this stuff that y'all have grown to love. You're not a Christian. All this wonderful stuff that you've grown to love, you are not that. What you are a comfortable slave. You are a comfortable slave with great potential. And when you begin to show signs that you are willing to work towards that potential, I will give you your credit. You want credit for something. You want to be called a god and a goddess and a king and a queen, and the only thing you have to do is sit on your ass and watch the NBA and eating popcorn and potato chips and drinking beer. And you're a god and you're a god. You're a god, you're a goddess, and you're a stripper going down a pole with a string up your backside. You're a queen and a goddess. That's not going to happen here. We're going to keep it real or nothing at all. If you don't keep it real, you're not going to experience real liberation. You don't keep it real, you're not going to experience real freedom. You're going to continue to live in this false world that your slave master put you in, and now you put yourself in because you colored this false world that your slave master put you in, you colored it black, so now fantasy and fiction is acceptable.
Free your mind.
Special report. Special report. Special report. Let's give a round of applause. Come on. Come on now. You got to clap louder than that. Special report. I admit that I was wrong. I admit I had the wrong plan. I admit that I was living in a pipe dream. I admit. I have to congratulate the pro-black community, the Africans and the Aboriginals, whatever they want to call themselves, the Comedics, the Pan-African, and then the whole group, the Moors, the Hebrews. They finally won. They got it together. We is free. Terry Ellis, we is free. Invo, we are free. Congratulations to the pro-black community, the real leaders, the leaders of the black community. Man, y'all done it. You done it. God has blessed you. Welcome to the Reality's Tip on Earth. Today's date is September the 2nd, 3030. I'm going to say that again. This is a day of happiness. The pro-black community finally won. September the 2nd, 3030. Oh, wow. If you didn't notice, but I'm an android. I'm a cyborg. Of course, the real Angel Snuff Number 7 died long time ago. But, man, it's just mind-boggling. It's a wonderful thing, y'all. The pro-blacks, the Pan-Africans, they finally won this thing for us. Woo! Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. This is wonderful. They finally built not just one nation, it's all kinds of nations all over the earth. The earth is basically all black, y'all. Fear of a black planet. Woo! That World War III was something else. And then after they recovered from World War III, the whole planet basically was destroyed almost. People barely hanging on. But the pro-blacks rose to the top. Well, not that fast. Because before they could rise, the white folks and other folks that survived the World War III and IV, whatever it was, they got themselves together. And they had been planning for a long time because they knew that the earth was going to become a place that the human beings, it was where human life, it was people couldn't live on it like we used to. So a few years ago, the rich white folks and the rich people, all the different races, they left the planet. I don't know exactly where they went, but they said they found another spot in the universe where human life could flourish, and they gone. But during the process, the pro-blacks rose up and start kicking some butt, and they start taking territory, you know, this nuclear Holocaust land, and they made slaves, just like the Bible says from the Hebrew Israelites. They was able to get some of the poor white people and make slaves out of them, just like the Bible say. Those Hebrew Israelites, they got white slaves now, y'all. And the Muslims, nobody raised pigs to eat. There's no more pigs. Everybody don't eat pigs. It's just, and everybody's African now, except there's rebellion among the Hebrew Israelites, and there's constant civil war. But black folks run the whole earth now, y'all. You know, full of cancer because of the nuclear war. The water's radiated, and the air look like it's almost black looking because of all the, you know, all the pollutants in the air and everything. But the Hebrew Israelites got the white slaves like they're supposed to have, yeah. And the mothership, I forgot to tell y'all, Elijah Muhammad was right. The mothership come down, and it was black folks on the mothership. There's no reports that Elijah Muhammad was there, but the android of Louis Farrakhan was on the mothership, and he got the Muslims, and so they have their territory, and it's just wow. The whole earth is not even called Earth anymore. It's called Africa. The Hebrew Israelites don't like it, and some of the Moors, but the whole earth is called Africa now. Everybody is really now is an African. It's what a wonderful day. What a wonderful day. 3030, they finally pulled it off. Their education and their supreme knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, their scholarship and their tenacity, just these pro-blacks, they finally made it. Yeah, it took a little time, but and sure, the earth is a big ghetto, it's a big mess because of nuclear war. You don't hardly see green plants no more. All the trees basically died. It's just the earth is messed up now, and they left it just like they normally do. They mess up a place and then leave it to the Negroes to have. But that's all right, because this is ours now. The black man runs the earth now. It's a wonderful day. Even though it's the year 3030, all this is ours. They fighting among each other, killing each other, raping each other, murdering each other. Ain't no white people around. All the white people are slaves. But they still fighting each other, killing each other, raping. But anyway, they in charge now. And that's all we want, you know, just to be in charge. It's a wonderful day. We all Africans. We did all that voting. We did all that voting, all our education, and all these different things that we used. It finally won. Man, oh man. So from this ministry, Android Angel Snub Nub 7, I just have to say congratulations to the pro-black community. What a beautiful world y'all own now. 3030. It took a long time, but this is really beautiful. And you've been in control for the last 1,000 years now. And it's not gotten any better. So I guess it'll take another 3,000 years before y'all can really get it to the paradise that y'all talk about. You're not getting no help from this mothership. I guess they just come down to see what y'all Negroes doing, got the hell back on the mothership, and took off. And of course, you constantly have to fight these rebellious white folks that y'all made slaves. They fighting, they constantly rebelling against you. You know, this is heaven on earth. So congratulations to the black conscious community, pro-black, pan-African, black first. This is a wonderful world that y'all built. And I forgot to tell you, the black woman is in her place. Hey, y'all sisters in your place. Nothing but baby makers. That's all that you ever was. That's all black women do. Stay home and have babies. That's all thing that you do. And get raped. That's all. What a wonderful world. I bet the real Angel Snuffing Up 7 would be so happy he could be here with me.